There are now 14 cases of COVID-19 in Oregon, and as a result, Governor Kate Brown declared a state of emergency this morning. Now, that just means more people and resources can be devoted to stopping the spread of the virus. One of the cases is a student at South Meadows Middle School in Hillsboro. Lindsay Nadrich spoke to the school district's superintendent about what they're doing and what parents should know.
School will not be canceled here at South Meadows Middle School tomorrow, even though one student tested positive for COVID-19. Staff says the student only came to school one day last week with mild symptoms, then stayed home. The superintendent says they cleaned the school on Friday, and then after learning about the diagnosis, they brought in another crew to clean again today.
We encourage our students to come to school because we believe that every day matters. Of course, parents will make their own decisions about whether they send their kids to school or not. I would just reiterate that our students are not a high-risk population, and the advice that we've been given is that it is a safe environment for students to gather.
Superintendent Mike Scott says they're following guidelines from the Oregon Health Authority and Washington County Health Department that say closing schools may not be an effective method for stopping the spread of the virus. Classes will continue as normal Monday after a thorough cleaning of the building.
We've modified our cleaning procedures, and we've focused on those high-touch areas that oftentimes would occur within a school. In addition to that, we are cleaning our buses each day to make sure that they're being disinfected, and those protocols have been in place for the last week.
This case is one of 7 new cases of COVID-19 in Oregon. It brings the total number of cases to 14, with the majority of cases in Washington County. This morning, Governor Kate Brown declared a state of emergency.
This emergency declaration gives the Oregon Health Authority and the Office of Emergency Management all the resources at our state's disposal to stem the spread of this disease.
Some of those resources include using emergency volunteer healthcare professionals, expanding telemedicine to screen people, and expanding testing. Of the 7 new cases, 3 people were already in the hospital when they were diagnosed. The other 4 are recovering at home and only have mild symptoms. As for where the new cases are, one is in Douglas County. We're told that person is medically stable. One is in Marion County, and 5 are in Washington County.
4 of the 5 new cases in Washington County are related to contacts of previous identified cases.
None of the new cases are related to travel. Most people who get COVID-19 will only have minor symptoms, similar to the common cold. The people most at risk are older adults and people with underlying medical conditions.
COVID-19 can present as a mild illness. We want people to take this seriously and take measures to protect those that are most vulnerable. So we ask you, if you have any illness symptoms, please do not visit people in hospitals. Please do not visit your loved ones in long-term care facilities.
And if you're in that high-risk group,
we're recommending to stay out of large public areas, stay away from people who have symptoms, and to take care at home when you can.
I'm Lindsay Nadrich, KGW News.